What's up, everybody? Got it going live. We're 9 seconds in. Already shenanigans happening in the chat. Thank you, Joe. Good seeing you here, good sir.
He was here before it even started.
I know.
I applaud you, good sir.
It's like, maybe he comes to the Roval. Who knows? We're trying,
Yeah. Joseph, you come to the Roval?
It's going to be a beautiful weekend.
Speaking of beautiful weekend, how about this beautiful intro?
God bless America, and gentlemen, start your engine!
Still down there. Still down there.
Still outside corner, you're number one.
Was out. Hell was out. Dancer just about out-wrecked him. And then she busted her ass.
What's up, everybody? How's it going, David?
What's up, David?
What's up, Joe? Yeah, no, there is no possibly. Come on to the Roval.
Yes or no?
Come on, you got to come. I saw you at a Georgia game with 1,000 people, yet you can't even come to a race where it's just going to be us. Come on now. Come on. You got to come to the race. I don't.
That's disturbing.
So, for those of us that don't need towels, this is going to be our first time back in a couple weeks. Unfortunately, we were out last week, sicknesses and such. But we are back, and it is race week. We will be at the Charlotte Roval. We can't wait to be there. We got some pretty exciting stuff coming. It sounds like we're going to finally be able to make up for our rainy, delayed trip. But we shall still see. Go. The door's a little bit better now. Got to kill out the echo.
Well, I think it's going to make up for the rainy trip.
More than enough. So.
Yeah. I don't care what happens. There's no rain forecasted this coming weekend, so
yeah, but it is going to be cold. So make sure that we got to bring some stuff. 40 degrees at night, which is about what it was at Bristol. So
it's at night. We got heat.
Going to be out. But heck, we had some racing. Got one more race to the cutoff. What do you think about this weekend's race? Did you get to watch all of
it? Yeah, I watched all the Cup race. Okay, so I watched most of the Cup race. I fell asleep during stage one, so that was my fault. But yeah, I thought it was a decent race. It wasn't the most exciting. It wasn't the least exciting. It was a decent race.
It's true. Deer hunting weather, it's getting perfect. I cannot hope to be able to get out this actual year. Grandpa.
I don't even have to go out. I can just open a window.
Yeah. Some of us have to actually travel to be able to go hunting. I cannot wait to be able to get out there. I know Dakota was already out there hunting. Hopefully I don't know if he's got anything yet. I'd imagine he'd share some pictures if he did. But it's going to be a great weekend. It was pretty good racing. Super speedways, 1.5 miles has been where it's at, obviously. And so it's like, okay, how is it going to be compared to that? Dega, I enjoyed it at times, and then at times I was like, okay, here we go, the normal seesaw that we got going on when we get to these. So, there wasn't a lot of accidents, which is great for some. I think
there were like caution flags, including stages.
Yeah, so not a lot going on there.
And there wasn't any cautions. There was one caution in stage one, but that was it. There wasn't. Well, no, there wasn't even that. It was caution was the stage because of Stenthouse.
Yeah.
So
losing gas.
I don't know if you can count that as a caution or not, but there wasn't any cautions or any wrecks during the actual stages.
Yeah, no, there was very little of anything. Obviously we had the couple right there at the end. I don't think there was a single one in the second stage.
No, there wasn't.
Because Kyle Busch's fender started to tear out, but then it was the end of the stage, and so they were able to fix whatever the problem was there.
Yeah. No, I thought it was a decent race. we know that the super speedway package kind of lacks a little bit at the for the Gen 6 cars or the Gen 7 cars, the next gen cars. But I think I'd rather watch some super speedway racing versus Martinsville and shifting 1,000 times a race. So
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know. I thought, like I said, I thought it was a decent race. The excitement, I don't know if it was everybody just trying to, mind their P's and Q's with it being, potentially very wreck fest of a race.
Yeah.
Because a lot of guys, Ross Chastain, he wrecked, in the first stage there, finished last. Well, technically second to last now, but we'll
Yeah,
get to that.
it was an odd day for anyone that was in the playoffs. Almost everyone at some point was in the 20s, 30s.
Yeah, a lot of the playoff guys didn't even get stage points. There was only like 3 or 4 playoff guys that even got stage points. And I think they said Byron got the most stage points and he's already locked. So he's out there making it harder on his competition.
Yeah, I mean, any way that he can get more and more points. I really think that we're starting to set in to see who our final four are going to be. We'll talk about that a little bit more later. But Ross Chastain getting in that first accident where Ricky Stenhouse ran out of gas. Apparently, he had flipped the reserve switch and it sputtered worse. Looked like he was being pushed by, I believe, Kyle was pushing him. Yeah. So, I mean, what do you think about that caution? I mean, Ross has just been kind of quiet ever since he got in trouble with Chevy earlier this year. And now it's looking like he could possibly miss the cut.
Yeah, he I'm not going to be surprised if he misses the cut because I think a lot of people kind of had him, they may have had him making it to round of 16, but I don't think a lot of people think that he could make it to the round of 8. And I'm one of them. I don't think he is. He hasn't shown the speed. Even in the playoffs, he's had 1 or 2 races in the playoffs that he's shown some speed.
Well, last week he ended up
but like Darlington, he got no stage points. He was a lap down at some point in the race and still came back and finished top 5. But I think that's like his one shining moment of the playoffs right now. So,
well, I think last week he finished top 5 or top 10 because last week he snuck it in there at the end of the race.
It's crazy though because even if he did, nobody's talking about him. We used to talk about him every single week, whether it was for the right or wrong things. Most of the time it was getting into somebody and causing an accident or wrecking one of our favorite drivers. But there's no mention of him at all during these broadcasts right now. And I think it's just, typical Trackhouse. They don't have any speed.
Yeah, I agree. Trackhouse has kind of fallen down. For some reason, Legacy found something about 5 weeks ago, and they're doing. I mean, Eric Jones has been talked about more than Ross has lately.
But Hocevar too.
Hocevar as well. Hocevar did really well. And then I agree with what Joseph's saying here. How is Bell sucking it up? And I find this one funny to me because they said, oh, well, we're going to change these pit crews. We're going to go to the best pit crew, which was obviously Ty Gibbs' pit crew, and that'll fix it for us. They've done nothing but make mistakes every single week since
every
then.
week. And even the 54 crew, which was the 20 crew, they're making mistakes too. So
gas can.
I said it as soon as they announced it. I said that wasn't a good idea. And we watched, the first 4 or 5 races here now in the playoffs. I think I've said it every single weekend. You don't fuck with something that ain't broken. And really, it wasn't broken. I mean, I think 20 crew was slow in certain points, but your team, you go into it as a team, you might as well finish the season as a team. I would have been pissed.
Yeah.
If I was on either one of those crews, I'd been like, well, let me finish the year out, with my driver.
Well, they build up that rapport, right? They build up that team. And I know they don't probably deal with the drivers every day, day in, day out. They're training, they're doing all that kind of stuff. But you still got to build some form of rapport with that driver and understanding of what that driver does, just like any team sport almost. And then to all of a sudden have to change it during, the end of the year after you've worked so hard to achieve so much with one, you got to think their headspace isn't the best either. And I mean, both crews are making mistakes left and right out there. Even, Denny, it's not really his crew. It's him speeding on pit road.
Yeah.
Like all these different crazy things that he's doing, which
I think
he's taking the villain role pretty seriously now.
I think it's funny because all through the regular season, I can't think of, a moment Denny had a speeding penalty. And now here we are in the playoffs, speeding at Bristol and speeding here at Talladega. Two two tracks that if you speed, you can really, ruin your day.
Yeah.
One with Bristol, luckily it was under caution, so all he had to do was start at the back. Not,
Yeah.
It wasn't under green. Talladega, he lost a draft and he went a lap down and he couldn't get the lucky dog at the stage break because Cindric beat him. And then Hosevart beat him too.
Yeah.
So it took a while for Denny.
Yeah, Hosevart beat him.
And that really screwed Denny in the stage points.
And even this race, he ended up going laps down and then didn't get the free pass when it had the first caution, which obviously was during stages, like you said, too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Denny is kind of – obviously he's got a good point cushion right now to make it in the Final Four. How do we feel about basically Phoenix? Because that's what it's going to come down to. Who do we think is the better finisher at Phoenix out of the people we have now? Not the Final Four, but the people we have right now.
That are
Final Four, surely. So what?
That are locked into the next round?
They're locked into right now what would be the round of 8 if we were to cut off the bottom dwellers at the moment.
Well, obviously, I mean, Denny obviously would be the first one to come to mind, but
Truex.
I don't. Well, I mean, Truex isn't in. Truex is 6th in points right now.
Yeah, but I'm saying not putting it the 4. Like I'm saying literally just out of the top 8 right now, who's the best at Phoenix?
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. I thought you were meant cutting it 4th place.
No, cutting it at 8 instead of going to the 12 that it's at.
I'm gonna be honest. Denny Hamlin right now, he's got way too much momentum, and I think it's his year. I don't want to see him win it because I hate Denny the driver, but I think it's his year.
I agree with you. I mean, at the very beginning of this year, we did a podcast, and my first thing was it was Denny's year to actually win his championship. I called it way back then. I do not like Denny as a driver for multiple reasons. We've talked about before. Atlanta earlier this year, he wouldn't even I'm standing 5 feet, and I have to end up taking a picture of us when he's praying. Like, dude's a
What's he trying to pray?
I had to wait till then because I was sitting there looking at him. He's like, will not look at me. I'm like, come on, I'm 5 feet away from you. Your PR guy's a piece of shit. Come on now. But
I think Denny, yes, he's my pick for the championship now. He's just had way too much speed. Look, if Blaney didn't win at Talladega, I think he would have been out after this round.
He would have been out 100%. If they didn't, if Riley did not get wrecked there, Harvick would have won that race. I 100% believe. Now, obviously, with the loose whole fasteners and all, I don't know how this would have played out. But I really think if Riley did not get spun there, that, no talent LaJoy out there spinning them, I think that Harvick could have won that race.
Yeah. I think Harvick would have won the race if he didn't lose that momentum from Riley. I think the topic on that is, had he had won, he still had a loose window. And what would NASCAR have done? I mean, it's easy for them to DQ second place because there's nothing. Second place is the first loser. But if you DQ the winner, there's a lot of shit that can come with that, especially being Kevin's. I'm going to be honest. That was Kevin's last shot to win this year.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I
don't see him any of these rest of the races. I just don't see it.
I want to see him win one more time before the year's up. But I think Talladega, that was his chance.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's crazy to think.
The case, I don't know what NASCAR. What would they do about that?
I think they would have let it slide. Honestly, I think it would have been a different something else. I think they would have found something else, or there would be a different issue, or they just wouldn't have looked at it. I don't know, but it's crazy. Even Rodney came out, and Rodney's like, "Listen, I've done some things I shouldn't have done, but this was a 500-mile race. They were sealed. Like they did everything they could, and it rattled loose throughout the race." How much that's actually true? Obviously, we're just going off a man's word, but I don't feel like Rodney would lie.
Look, they all fucking lie. I don't care what you want to say. They all lie. They all cheat. A lot of guys are cheating right now. They just haven't been caught.
Yeah.
And modified parts, they're just not getting caught. Like that. It's the
way the statement was. I don't feel like that would have been the part they were cheating up.
And so my problem with NASCAR DQing Harvick over this is how many other times have you heard of the window coming loose in a super speedway race? Like, how many times have you heard this penalty being announced for this problem?
I don't.
I've
I
never
can't.
heard of it.
I
I've
can't
never
recall.
heard of a window just coming loose and then they DQing a guy because of it.
Yeah. So I
So
don't know. I think they're looking heavier into these cars though, because I think
they have
NASCAR is
to.
actually trying to crack down on some of this cheating.
They
They
have to because
doing some stuff.
everybody's cheating.
Yeah.
Everybody is. The guys that are running fast week in and week out, they're cheating.
Oh yeah. I mean, we know Hendrick. I mean, they cheat up some parts. I mean, it's Chad Knaus. He does some questionable things. Somebody tip NASCAR. It's possible. I mean, who's going to be the jackass that tips on Harvick his final year, his final chance to be able to win a race? That person's lowly piece of shit.
I don't think had Harvick won that race, I don't think that they would have done anything about it. At least I want to think that they wouldn't have done anything about it.
Yeah.
And if Harvick would have won that race and they didn't do anything about it, Blaney, back to the topic here, Blaney would be out. I'm sorry. 100%. He's not winning the Roval. He's not having there's not going to be 5 playoff guys that are going to have problems at the Roval and, get Blaney in. Because I think Blaney was lowest seeded.
Yeah, there's no way Blaney makes it in if it wasn't for this. I mean, he's got to be thanking Paul Corey, because Corey made that happen for him. I do kind of question.
Corey took out one Penske car in the round of 16, and then he helped a Penske car in the round of 12.
Yeah, true. But I don't know. Do you think at the beginning of this year, would we have said that who was going to have a better year, Truex or Harvick, that Truex would be so much farther ahead than Harvick? Because I don't think so. I think at the beginning of this year, I thought Truex was going to get, maybe a win in, but it was going to be his final year.
I'm trying to think back to our predictions at the beginning of this year. I'm pretty sure I think I had Harvick winning at least 2 races this year.
Yep.
And I know going into this year, I did not assume that Stewart Haas was going to be as fucking terrible as they are now. And
yeah,
it seems like all the cars have fallen off now. It's not just Harvick that's carrying the team. I think they've all fallen off. And I think Harvick's just done. I just think he doesn't fucking care anymore.
But it's not just them. It's all Fords, because Penske, other than RFK, because Penske also trashed this year. I mean, these last end of this year has just been garbage. I mean, basically we have RFK, and then we have out of nowhere Front Row doing pretty darn good with their cars.
Yeah, Front Row is McDowell in particular. I'd be curious to see how Todd does next year with the year under his belt.
Yeah. Todd was the fastest car at one point during the race.
Well, the other question too is going into next year, and we're getting way ahead of ourselves. Do you think McDowell is going to be able to carry that momentum and replicate what he's done this year?
I think so. I think they're only going to get better. I don't know where everyone's money is coming from, but I think everyone is putting some serious money out there right now.
Yeah. They certainly are, especially with, Spire of all companies, teams going out and buying a $40 million charter, which is like way more. I think Denny said his last charter he bought, which was the last charter that was bought, was what, 18 million, I think?
Around 20.
So that's huge for, $40 million now.
Yeah.
And then to go out like the following week and buy Kyle Busch Motorsports, like where the hell did that come from?
And what's crazy, someone asked during the Saturday talk, and they were like, whose money is it? And he said, well, I can tell you whose names are on the check. And it was his and the other co-owner. So everyone was saying Gamebridge, and that's what I thought it was, just to be honest.
Yeah, Spire is like an entertainment contracting company, I believe. So, I mean, they're fucking loaded with money. It's just weird that their business model is weird. They go in and, buy a couple charters and then they sell a charter. And it's like they're not in it for the actual racing. They're in it to turn a profit for themselves.
Yeah.
But now, like, are they actually in it to race? If they're buying Kyle Busch Motorsports, if they bought this third charter, why, one, do you have Ty Dillon of all drivers, which we know he's being replaced? Most likely it's Hosfart going in that car.
I think we're pretty much
Corey is already committed long term to that 7 car.
Yep.
And now we have the third charter, which is going to be Zane Smith, with Trackhouse, basically aligning with Spire. So Spire is just, what they got going on is weird.
That I don't get it. And the other part for me that doesn't make sense is why didn't Trackhouse just buy us? But I get it. Business sense, $40 million for a charter doesn't make sense right now because they're supposed to have that collective bargaining agreement and they're supposed to have all the different contracts up next year.
Yeah.
What if they do this now and then charters end up going to nothing because they get rid of charters?
No, they're not getting rid of the charters. They're not getting rid of the charters.
Okay.
That's definitely not going to happen. But I do find it odd that, rather than wait till the end of next year to do that, because that's when the new agreement's going to be.
Yeah.
They did this when they did, and it makes perfect sense for Trackhouse. They can start having technical alliance Spire, but they don't even have to lease the charter. They can just put Zane in that car, and then 2 years from now, maybe they end up leasing or buying the charter from them.
Yeah, and obviously we've talked about Stuart Haas, where it's like, all right, how many charters are they going to keep? I could see them selling 2 charters. I mean, obviously I don't think it's going to happen right now, but I could see them selling 2 charters. If someone's willing to buy them.
I think there were some rumors with that and everything, and it makes sense, especially with like the 10 car was the first car that I would just go ahead and get rid of. Yeah. But they've already said that Priest is coming back next year. Obviously Barry was signed for the 4. Yeah. I think Briscoe's under contract for next year too.
One more year.
Yeah, I can look here.
Yeah, I think he's one more year, but I can see them get rid of some stuff. Now
I think they should. I think they should downsize. Denny Hamlin said it before that 3 cars he feels like is the perfect number for our team. Chase Briscoe's through 2026, so he's not going anywhere. Like I said, Priest was re-signed Barry, so you got 3 cars. It's just a 10 car. What are they going to do with that? Maybe they lease the charter. That might not be a bad idea either.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some people out there that would want it. I mean, I'm kind of wondering what's going on.
Leasing too is hard because what the hell you got going on there,
bro? My chair's disintegrating.
The thing with leasing is that you can only lease your charter 1 year. They can't lease them multiple years out.
But what's Kyle Busch doing? I think he's fully falling apart on me.
Yeah, I don't know.
Kyle Busch doing? Because selling KBM like that, I mean, he's definitely 50-50 on ownership. But
you remember when he signed with Richard Childress that he said that his goal was to retire when he could race Brexton in the Truck Series.
Exactly.
I kind of thought that the Truck Series in KBM was going to be like Brexton's, thing. Exactly.
Yeah, that made no sense to me because the other part was he wouldn't sign with Joe Gibbs because they couldn't work out a plan for KBM at the time. That was one of the things they said. So you held out.
He must have got some stupid money for the team.
For sure. Spire spent $40 million for a freaking charter. I'm willing to bet this is upwards of $100 million because they bought the buildings, they bought Rowdy Machining, they bought all of it. So they're going to move their little shack behind the Charlotte Motor Speedway over to KBM and start their operations there next year. So there's a pretty penny there, and then they'll probably sell their old shop or keep it for something else. I just hope.
Have they said that they're actually going to move their cup operation into KBM?
Yeah, they've already stated that.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so they're moving everything over there. That's not what they're saying. I mean, they're saying what the owner said, or one of the co-owners said, was that it's him and I can't remember the dude's name, but it's interesting how much money they all of a sudden had. I think they just sat on money. I really think they just sat on money, and now they're flexing a little bit. And I think they're actually trying to be a legitimate race team. You go out there and you get someone like Zane Smith that's going to come in. You got obviously Carson, who's done really well. And then you got bum Corey, who's going to complain about everything and why it wasn't his fault. Okay. But I think there's money going there for sure.
I'm just trying to read up on Spire and see who.
I can't remember the dude. They did it at Talladega.
Bill Anthony, and Jeff Dickerson and TJ Punchier?
Yeah, whatever the name was. The one dude looks like a freaking hipster. They probably own a brewery somewhere, I feel like. But yeah, I do appreciate how in depth Briscoe and Priest went to the Ricky Bobby Cal Naughton Jr. Yeah, I mean that was pretty funny. It was pretty funny. Talladega Nights. I enjoy Talladega Nights. I know all y'all were talking about, oh, it's a terrible movie. No, that's just funny.
I think
only thing they
Connor and
didn't
I were
do.
the only ones that were saying it was a terrible movie. We were outnumbered, but I stand by my
Love it.
I stand
Love
by
it.
it. It's a fucking
I mean,
terrible
the fact that he got in character so early that he flipped his car and flew through the air a couple of weeks
Hey,
back.
can I give you a pat on
into
the back
character.
because you were the first one to make that meme video?
Yeah.
And like after they announced that this was happening, that it got recycled. Other people were recycling it, like your idea of it. So I want to give you a pat on the back for that.
Yeah, they didn't give us any credit, but it's cool. It's fine. It's whatever it is. Thanks, social media.
It's not like it was that original though.
It really wasn't. As soon as I saw it, though, I knew I had to do it.
Oh yeah,
but that shit was funny.
Spire Sports and Entertainment.
There
So that they announced their purchase of their charter from the now defunct Furniture Row. So when Furniture Row went under, they bought. Oh, that's interesting. They bought the championship team. At least the charter. Huh. Anywho, I find that funny though if they're moving away from that shop because so Trackhouse is not far. They're in the old Chip Ganassi building, so they're not far from the track, just like Hendrick Motorsports is, and neither is Spire. But if they're going to have an alliance, then they're moving further away from Trackhouse.
Yeah, I mean,
did you
I
listen?
thought Trackhouse was with. I thought Spire was working with Hendrick. And apparently not, or they stopped it. I don't know, but that was funky to me too.
I don't remember. Did you hear or listen to any of Justin Haley on Dale Jr. Download from a couple weeks ago?
No. What? I said no.
Pay attention.
I said no.
I know you did, but you like took 50 fucking minutes. So he said that he's going over to Rick Ware. He said that when he went to go talk to Rick and he got the address from like his PR person or his agent. And so they said, you're going to meet at RFK Racing. And Haley was like, wait, what? Like, I'm going to meet, Rick Ware. So he gets over there to the address, which is RFK. There's a building like right next to RFK. That's where Rick Ware is. So Rick Ware's moved in that building and they have like a super tight alliance now with RFK. And he said that Brad Keselowski had to also sign off on Rick Ware hiring Justin Haley.
Interesting. I wonder if he's a part. Like, I wonder if RFK is a part.
I think it's because well, no, he's not part owner, but because they have like this really tight technical alliance now, that Brad because of that. I guess that's part of the deal or whatnot.
Yeah.
But I just thought that was super interesting. Like, we all were like throwing shit. Like, why the fuck would Haley go to Rick Ware? Like, that's career suicide.
I still don't get it.
But Haley said, he walked in the shop, saw how clean it was. It just looked like RFK, just a smaller scale. They're getting a lot of technical alliance. And right now, who's the best Ford team? RFK. Mm-hmm. So they're going to be getting a lot more of the piece of the pie from Ford, which only is going to trickle down to Rick Ware. So I'm a little ahead of myself, as far as predictions for next year, but I wouldn't sleep on Haley, being a backmarker anymore.
I don't know. I'd like to see what they end up doing.
I'm not saying you're
Ford said they were going to throw some money at people, so I want to see if Ford actually does it for one. Yeah. But we'll see.
Ford's just getting pilchered, left and right. They lost Zane Smith.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, they're losing more and more as time comes by. But all right, so
up to 30 minutes.
I locked that door. How'd they get in here?
Dogs.
No, the kid somehow Mason broke in. I don't know how he did that.
Because he's my son.
My son. Yeah. But sorry, that threw me off. But yeah, no, I mean, I think there's gonna be some big changes next year. I think next year is gonna be one of those crazy years where a lot more of these small teams ain't small teams no more. I'm really glad that obviously the charter got sold by Live Fast Motorsports, because a lot of the other ones, Rick Ware is showing that they want to start winning races. They're putting more money out there.
Yeah.
They signed guys like Justin Haley,
Yeah.
but Live
DJ
Fast
just didn't have the funding to put into that team, and
exactly.
He's going to go. Dale said it. Dale Jr. said it on his podcast. He talked about it, and he said, it's really going to help him because he can take that money that he's $40 million and put that towards his Xfinity team. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised to see that Xfinity team run a little bit better. I'm not saying they're going to go out and win races and contend for playoffs, but top 20, 25 runs, that would be really good for them. Because they're not great in Xfinity either.
No, they're definitely not. But I think they could do some step ups. We'll see.
Yeah.
But all right, it's been about 30 minutes now, so we'll get into picks for next week. I mean,
for this coming race at Charlotte Roval,
one that we're gonna be at, and in the pits. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. Are we doing just Cup?
Yeah, just Cup.
Okay. I would say my primary pick is going to probably be I kind of want to go back to back and say Bell's going to do it again.
I think it's going to be Chase.
You've been saying that all year, so
I've been saying that all year. This is going to be his one win for this year, and it's going to be this one right here, and he's going to win, and it's going to be in dramatic fashion yet again. Probably going to spin out a crowd favorite, and everyone's going to say it was a Mickey Mouse win.
Did you read the script? Because
I read the script.
That sounds pretty right.
Already read the script.
Yeah, it's not a bad pick. Chase is, like we talked about it today in our chat. Chase isn't washed up by any means. It's a down year for sure. But, I mean, his top fives are a little off pace, but if he ran a full season, he'd have close to the same amount of top fives as he did last year.
Most likely, and a lot of that's muscle memory. Like if you're not being consistent in it, you're going to lose some racecraft.
It's just the one thing I said. He hasn't even led 100 laps this year. I mean, that's a mind-blowing stat to me. Like you would think it was how many points is he's getting and everything that he would be leading some races, but he's not.
Mm-mm. He's been top 5 a bunch, top 10 a bunch, obviously, but not winning. But all right, well, Thursday I'm going up there to see some of the shops, and then I'll be heading to.
You're gonna go to RCR.
So what?
Are you gonna go to RCR?
RCR, RFK, Stewart Haas, and possibly Racing Warehouse to see if I can't get some cheap sheet metal for the bus to screw in the wall.
True. Might go to RCR this off-season Christmas week when I'm off.
Be fun.
That's the one shop I haven't been to that I actually even care about going to.
Yeah, that's what I get. I would definitely want to get some Busher, some Busher stuff.
Is Busher your new guy now?
I think right now Busher. Yeah, I thought about going to Byron, but I don't know. Like 24 was Jeff to me, and it's always going to be Jeff. We talked about this in the group chat too. So I don't think I can go that one. I think I would rather get on the Busher train because I already was a Ford guy to begin with. So
not that big.
Okay, I'll go with it. Got to replace some flags and stickers, but go with it.
So, what are you going to do when Noah comes back? I guess
when Noah comes back for Cup, I'll still be Noah.
Split it, Noah Busher.
Yeah, Noah Busher. But I don't.
Noah Busher.
I don't see Noah Busher being. I don't see Noah being back next year for Cup. Unfortunately, the only spot that might be available right now, I think, is the 10.
You don't think Colleague? Because AJ's probably not coming back.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like if they were going to sign him, that would have been the 31 Haley announcement instead. But I don't know. Maybe that was too close to when he got reinstated. I'm not sure. I haven't really heard a lot of steam.
Well, I mean,
and then on top of that,
they're bringing Hemorrhoid. Can't want to say Hemorrhoid. They're bringing Hemorrhoid in to drive the 31.
I know,
but you don't think that they're because they haven't announced that AJ's not coming back, but I mean it sounds pretty true that he's not coming back. So they're gonna have another car.
I don't know if I see it him because right now he's been.
Well, who would you think would go in that car? Chandler? Because I don't think Chandler's ready. and that's going to leave 2 seats
I don't know.
open for
I
the Indy Cup program.
I don't know. I mean, obviously, a lot of us thought it was going to be Austin, and then Austin didn't get that one because I would have said Austin and Hemrick.
Oh, Austin Hill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I hope it's Noah. I would love for it to be Noah because it's not terrible equipment. Colleague is another one that's been putting some money in. They're middle of the pack team. They're top 15 team. They can catch some breaks here and there. I'd love to see it, but I don't know. I really haven't seen a lot of fire for Noah, unfortunately, out there. Even with him racing again right now, he finally made a post again on Twitter, finally made a post on Instagram of him working out. But he's going out and doing these smaller races, but it's not very frequent, and he's still kind of top 10s and stuff here and there. So I don't know. I'm not sure about that one yet.
Well, I guess we're going to find out.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll see you in a couple of days.
All right, man. See you soon.
All right. Tune into our social guys. We're going to have some content coming out pretty soon. So,
Finally.
yeah. All right. Well, see y'all later.
All right. See y'all.